Right, it's time to crack in to the box. We'll need a hammer. By the way, subscribe to Crawford's Farm on YouTube. There's a QR code, you can use that to get there. Although if you're watching the video, then you don't need to get there. And a chainsaw. We've not done this in a while. New tool day. Time! Box unboxed. A new MIG welder. An Artex CMIG 315. Class. It's a 315 amp welder, transformer welder. Last time I bought a welder, I just started welding. I didn't really know what I was talking about. I went on eBay. I bought the first thing that was a reasonable price, which was 180 amp Sealy Mighty MIG, which did the job for quite a number of years. Anyway, it's packed in. And this time round, I know a bit more about welding. I do quite a bit in the workshop, so I was needing something a bit beefier, a bit more capacity, a bit better of a duty cycle, and weld a thicker material than my old one. Some yoke. It's got some weight about it. It is a transformer welder. Transformer welders are better for farm environments where it's inconsistently used. The conditions in the workshop can be pretty rubbish, damp, cold, you know, so better a transformer that way. So this is the wire drive mechanism here. So that's the spool of wire. I've not got a big enough spool. It's kind of set for 15 kilo spools, whereas that's only a 5. I'll need to get a 15 kilo one. And this is 0.8 mil wire. So there's these dies. I don't know if you call them dies or rollers or whatever you call them, but these are either 1 mil or 1.2 mil for this one, because it's got 2 slots in it. I don't know if that V means it's like a V slot. I don't know what the V means. Anyway, I'll swap these over for 0.8 mil. Actually, that one's the wrong way around. That way, and then that pinches the wire, and the motor back here via a few cogs drives that round to push the wire through the gun. And I'm just setting this all up. Now what I need to do is turn on the machine, use the trigger on the machine to drive this motor, loosen these off till it just slips, then turn them by about half a turn. If I pinch it a little bit and the drive mechanism doesn't slip, we're good. And I also want to be able to pinch really hard and it just about stop it, or should stop it. And that's the tension set correctly. These two set the tension. There's another roller above the wire there, and the tensioner here is putting more pressure down from this roller onto the wire between the bottom roller and the top roller. Nightmare. The dingus end is too big to fit in the sockets I've got. In electrical terms, I don't have a clue what that means. Presumably, I can just swap this big dingus end for a smaller dingus end. That is stick welder, that one down there. Plasma cutter also has the exact same, just the dingus end that came with the welder, too big. Not an issue I'm usually used to. Too big a dingus end. Update after speaking to a man who knows more about dingus ends, i.e. a Sparky. He said it'd be fine to chuck another plug on it, but you might trip because that's a 16 amp breaker that's in there. Pop him by tomorrow, he'll see if he can quickly swap that to a 32 amp breaker, and then we can get that machine fired into life. Everything's just like massive on it. Makes my old welder look like a wee hobby welder, which it kind of is. This is the old welder, which is not playing ball, goosed. Cups on that versus the new one's cups. It's like we guys with massive trucks with massive wheels on it, compensating for something. And now I am too. I don't have a massive truck, but I've got a massive dingus end. One digger bucket that I'm needing. Oh, I didn't mean to drop that. Oh well, it's down now. Dumped it next to the digger there. So that's all the mess I was making when we were finding the blocked bit of drain in there, which we found. The water's all drained away now. I'm gonna leave this space to dry up. There's a big pile of old stobs, so we need to chop them all up. A bit of firewood in there. There's the new ones. We'll take a flying tour past the fences actually. Someone was asking to see more of the fences. So this fence line here, this is kind of the last bit to do. So the guys will hopefully get to that tomorrow. Oh, it's wetter in here than I thought. Want to hopefully get that done by tomorrow so the sheep that are across there can come back into here. Just running a wee bit tight on the ground. So this is where the guys are up to. They've just strung up all the Rylock net. They'll need to chuck it on and tension it a wee bit. They've got their top and bottom tensioning rails on. Over the years there would have just been stones and stones and stones dumped along the edges of the fields. So they've managed to work around it. And then this bit is finished apart from the electric top wire. So it goes right the way up. We'll just keep going. Hopefully the Land Rover doesn't get stuck. Bugger. Yeah, that's not working. Just got road tyres on this. Anyway, all it is more fence. So that's all the woodland side they've done over there. I'll show you that in a second. And then they've done all along there. That was a nice easy bit for them. Dead flat, dead straight, all the way into that corner over there. That's a wee update on the fences. There's some wire we need to chuck into a trailer and go and get recycled, scrapped. And then the gateway, I need to actually come and just, probably just do it with a forklift, but dump a bucket load of topsoil or gravel in there maybe. Probably just gravel just to keep it hard. Just getting the sprayer all yoked up and ready for action. This is just water, don't worry. Right, just grabbing the digger. So this is now unblocked and flowing, so we're just leaving this whole area to dry out a bit before I fill it all in again. So these are draining rods. They screw together and then you fire them up drains, up and down drains. So you keep adding a piece on and you can ram them up and down drains to clear them and unclog bits that are clogged up. They're pretty flexible as well, so they kind of can go around corners a wee bit as well. I should probably have gloves on. These have probably been used for some less discreet uses, not drains for water. A lot of people said when I was digging the other holes for the bits up there I was just at, to use a much narrower bucket than this to find where the drains are, then maybe dig out with a bigger bucket. Which, yes, would be nice, but the wider bucket, when I'm digging, it's much easier for me to see where the drain is, or when I'm coming near it, because the ground type changes, or the soil changes, the soil structure changes because it's been dug through before. Maybe after I've got a bit more experience and got a better eye for seeing exactly where the soil changes, I'll be able to tell on a narrow profile, but with a wider profile you get a better vision of what's coming, so it's a lot easier for me using that. Maybe further down the line a narrower bucket I'll manage, but for now a wider bucket means less chance of digging straight through the drain without noticing. Let's go make a mess and more bits of the farm. Clearly this is where the water is bubbling up, and I just need to decide whether, I presume it is travelling down this roadway rather than across and out the ditch. Let me check, there might be a pipe coming out of there maybe. There's water down there. It might just bubble out of here. That looks like maybe, nah, maybe not. Is that an old stone? Unless I'd be better to keep digging here and find kind of what depth the pipe's at and which way it's going. But it's just going to be a hole filled with water, I'm not going to be able to see it. What would the professional do? This whole bit slopes off that way, so I've dug a bit of a trench to get the water away so we're not working in water the whole time. There's a bit of a hollow bit there, like the pathway for the water. Maybe it is just an old stone drain and I'm just kicking hell out of it. What to do? What to do? Oh, I wish I could have immediate feedback from somebody here. Someone who knows what they're talking about. There'll be someone watching right now, probably more than one, be pulling their hair out thinking, oh, why have you not done this? Why have you not done that? Well, because this is a big experiment. I've never done this before. I don't flipping know. Right, I am pretty convinced now this is a stone drain and there isn't a pipe of any sort. So what do I do here? So it's not got far to go till it gets to the gully. Do I put a pipe in from there out to there? Seems relatively logical way to go with this. Just as well I'm not a drainage contractor anyway. Wouldn't be getting a lot of jobs anyway. Right, abandoned ship. Gonna fire up, get the forklift, see if there's any gravel kicking about. I'm not sure if there is. What the heck has been burrowing in there? Flipping it, that's a big hole.
Guess who just got there today? Them
Bang on the money.
boys that had been away